step in teaching students to innovate is making sure that educators have opportunities to be innovators themselves. Hello, everyone. I am Seema Chhoriya and I present to you another brand new episode on Great Principles. Joining me in conversation is my pioneering guest of today, Mr. Ashley Oswald Fernandez, Principal, Seth Anandram Jaipuria School, Nanpara, UP. Welcome to Great Principles, sir. It's truly an honor to have you today.
Thank you, Seema.
To all my dear viewers, our conversation would be bilingual today so that we can reach out to many of you out there. So you will be hearing a lot of Hindi from us today. So let us start from where it all started, sir. So once upon a time, a student awaiting his PG result, you have landed in teaching job, which turned out to be your calling. So tell me, how important it is for a teacher to be accepted by students. Generally, ऐसा होता है कि many a time we students doesn't like her teacher that much, but we are forced to study from her or him. So, what are your thoughts on this?
It is very important from day one to get accepted by your students. And, for me, I still remember that fateful day in the first week of July in 1986. And I walked into the school. I was appointed as as the teacher. And I walk into the school and I was given the attendance register of grade 12, science section. You're the class teacher. I mean, oops, I didn't expect that. I was a young 21-year-old. Okay. And at least some of the boys were head and shoulder over me. And that was getting myself accepted was the challenge now. I think I walked into the class and yeah, okay, generally, okay, children were okay. They were fine. I'd say they were actually sweet children. Okay. It's like in the break time, I was trying to get myself uh, accepted by the staff. So I was feeling a little shy of them because many of them were quite old. I mean, they were in the 40s. So I decided, okay, I had a cup of tea and I went out. I saw the children playing a game of cricket and I joined them. I think that was the turning point, because I had myself been a sportsman, and that was probably the turning point when they began to feel like he's like us. Now the point is, then I began to realize that I also had to draw a line somewhere that okay, be accepted as a teacher, don't be over friendly, uh, let them know that there is the teacher student relationship. Okay, and I think that's gradually blended in slowly, and the rest is history. I was teaching physics, I was teaching maths. I also delved into coaching making a girls cricket team. So that was also something that I never realized that would ever come my way. I have no formal qualifications as a coach, but that just happened, and I think that just changed things for me. And I just fell in love with the job. I just say one thing: I am a teacher by chance, not by choice. I just landed in the job landed on my lap, and the rest just happened.
Great, sir. So in this answer, the one thing which I really loved was yes, you are ought to be friendly, but you need to maintain the hierarchy of that relationship so that the respect factor is there. So here, sir, आपसे हम एक बात और जानना चाहेंगे जैसे कि टीचर स्टूडेंट रिलेशन में होता है that you need to be friendly. Similarly, parenting is not easy. हम पेरेंट्स बहुत बार या तो ओवर फ्रेंडली हो जाते हैं या बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट हो जाते हैं। तो आप पेरेंट्स को क्या एडवाइस करना चाहेंगे कि कैसे वो एक परफेक्ट बैलेंस स्ट्राइक करें इस रिलेशनशिप का भी?
देखिए, एक तो मैं पेरेंट्स को एक चीज बोलना चाहूंगा कि स्ट्रिक्टनेस एंड फर्मनेस डज नॉट गो विथ यूजिंग योर हैंड और यूजिंग द केन. दैट्स अ रॉन्ग नोशन ऑल टुगेदर. आई थिंक अगर बच्चों से पूछेंगे तो ज्यादातर उनको मार अपनी माँ से पड़ी है, पापा से कम ही पड़ी होगी, एक आध दो बार पड़ी होगी. यू नो, I remember as a kid, my father, I think probably once or twice he probably beat me. Okay, beat me means it was probably a slap. But I think the very fear that he commanded into me, no, when dad said no, it was a no. Now, this is where you've got to, it's just be firm. No. I do remember my sister and myself would be playing around in bed, and my mother would sometimes shout at us, but my father would just simply he would it's bedtime and we had got to sleep, and my father would just called from the drawing room. Now, who needs my help to sleep? And we nobody dared after that. None, both my sister and myself never dared after that to even utter a word, because we knew that that meant business. Now, when he said, "Who needs my help?" that meant business. पेरेंट्स को मैं बस यही दरख्वास्त करूंगा कि आप लोग एक फर्मनेस बनाइए, बी फ्रेंडली। बच्चों, बच्चे अल्टीमेटली बच्चे हैं, गलतियां करते हैं, बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वो बच्चे कभी गलती करते हैं या आपसे बात करना चाहते हैं, इतना भी दीवार ना बनाइए कि वो आपसे डरते हैं कि आप दे कैन नॉट कन्फाइड टू यू, वो बोल नहीं पा रहे हैं अपनी दुख दर्द, जो भी इनकी दिमाग में आशंकाएं चल रही हैं, जो भी इनकी व्हाट यू से फियर्स। ओके, कभी कभी ऐसा भी होता कि बच्चा डर के मारे, स्कूल में कुछ हो गया या फ्रेंड्स के बीच में कुछ हो गया और वो डर के मारे अपने घर में बता नहीं पा रहा है। ये नहीं होना चाहिए। तो बी फर्म, एक स्ट्रिक्ट रहिए, बट इतना भी ना डराइए कि बच्चे अल्टीमेटली आपके पास आ नहीं ना पाए और उसके बाद आप आई मीन बाद में वो गलत स्टेप ले ले किसी भी तरीके से। मैं कहना नहीं चाहता हूँ, मेरे को डर लगता है ये सब चीजें कहने में, बट कोई गलत स्टेप ना ले कि अल्टीमेटली फिर पछताना पड़े। सो दिस इज माय जनरल एडवाइस टू पेरेंट्स।
राइट सर, एंड आई थिंक फर्मनेस ही है जो हम पेरेंट्स मिस करते हैं। हम खुद अपने ही बनाए हुए रूल्स को ब्रेक कर देते हैं, हम खुद ही बोल देते हैं अच्छा ठीक है जाने दो बेटा, एंड जस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ दिस जाने दो बेटा द किड्स आर टेकिंग अस फॉर ग्रांटेड एंड दे आर नॉट गेटिंग डिसिप्लिन इन द मैनर। Yes, friendliness is required, but as adults, as parents, we need to supervise them and ensure that they are also trying to follow a structure for a better life. So, wonderful answer by Sir. Firmness is all that is needed, and that is how we can strike a perfect parenting balance too. Moving ahead in our conversation, Sir, as I started the show, talking about that for teaching children to be innovative, our educators themselves need to be innovative. So tell me something, sir. Why do you think that why should all the educators and everyone needs to upskill themselves regularly?
See, like if you're going to be following that the old style of teaching, we are going to be left far behind. वो पहले जमाने में the sage on the stage, okay, the teacher with the chalk or the marker in his hand and teaching up there, blah 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 blah, and finished. The lesson is finished. What happens is at the end, आगे वाला बच्चा शायद समझ रहा है, पीछे वाला बच्चा सो गया है। मैं एक पीछे वाला बच्चा था। ओके, आई those kind of things are now redundant, वो obsolete हो गया। They should not be followed. Those kind of steps should not be followed. Those kind of teaching strategies should not be followed. Now, पहले जमाने में क्या होता था? Teaching. But आज के जमाने में the focus has shifted. The 21st century, the focus of education is teaching and learning. And this is what I keep telling my teachers. You have taught, perhaps all of you are wonderful teachers. Have your students learned? So what are the parameters that you will use to check and see that the learning has happened? Now, these are things like I keep telling teachers, you should have a proper introduction to your lesson where you flip through their past knowledge. Okay, जो you check इनके past knowledge क्या है, इस सब chapter को लेके, इस topic को लेके इनकी past knowledge क्या है. At the end of your lesson, आपको ये भी देखना चाहिए कि भाई बच्चे को ने उस लेसन में कुछ पकड़ा है कि नहीं. और इसके लिए कुछ नहीं है. Teachers को, I would just advise teachers one thing. Nothing, randomly pick up one A, B, C on today's Saturday. Monday, pick up D, E, F, and so on. But make sure that you cover, at least in a week, you have probably covered the whole class in asking questions. One thing important is make the child feel important. He'll always, this is, I think, Seema, this was one thing that I always try to follow, even as a very, very young teacher, to make everyone feel important to the class. So somehow they like to be in my class, even the weakest student. Weakest means, actually, again, I wouldn't like to use that definition, weakest. It's like, the interest was not there, but somehow I managed to develop the interest. Okay, physics is already a pretty complex subject, and to get the student to understand you in the class, that's the biggest art. And I think that goes for every subject. I mean, okay, I'm being partial towards my subject. That's what I was teaching. So I'll be partial towards it. But obviously, I think every other teacher faces their own challenges. So you need to upskill yourself. You need to know how I can evaluate the lesson taught on that day. What are the different assessment strategies that I should use to find out that okay, has my student understood? Nothing. I would just advise teachers, कुछ नहीं, एक 5 मिनट का 5 MCQ क्वेश्चंस दे दो, जो आपने पिछले दिन का पढ़ाया है, पिछले टॉपिक में पढ़ाया है. अब 5 मिनट का जस्ट 5 minutes test of 5 MCQs covering the key concepts, and यहीं से you come to know बच्चों ने कितना आपको फॉलो किया. दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट कि वो उनका पास नॉलेज ठीक था कि नहीं था, हैव दे अंडरस्टूड यू, ओके, एंड देन यू वुड नो दैट ओके, नहीं मेरे को अपने स्ट्रैटेजीज थोड़ा बदलना पड़ेगा. Another important advice I'd like to tell teachers, see, gone are those days where बैठ के पढ़ो. No, there are people of different learning styles. There are students of different learning styles. Some are kinesthetic, and those kind of students, and I'm sure all my friends in the teaching fraternity would agree with me that they'll come across, every class they'll come across at least one or two such students who cannot sit still at one place. They want to move around. They're kinesthetic. Okay, let them move. Probably when they move, they'll probably learn better. Develop your learning, your teaching in such a way that you give them enough to move their limbs. If not their legs, at least their hands. Give them something to do. Okay. Similarly, show proper pictures, videos, and all. Involve the children in the class. Proper videos and all. Now, these are teaching standards. Assessments. Don't only follow the standard assessment. Okay, tick and cross and all that. Okay. In fact, we should try to, even the CBSE says that for that matter. It's not my, what I'm saying is what the CBSE also says. Try to avoid putting too much of process that can be very, very demotivating, demoralizing to the child. So think of them. Okay, when they see the papers all red, it's like they start shirking away from it. So we should try our best to see that the children do not shirk away from the subject. They should learn it. So develop your teaching, develop your assessment strategies also in such a way. Short tests, what's going to happen? Short tests, they will feel very happy doing it. And this way, short tests will actually, they'll be prepared for the longer versions in this way. So we have to get children to understand these little things. The pandemic itself has played ruckus with our teaching learning. Okay. Now, here we do have problems, and I'm sure every teacher would say the same thing. We've had problems with this, but then we have to develop strategies where we get the attention of every single child. Now, these are important strategies. When I talk about assessments, teachers, at least when you want to assess my previous lesson, how was it taught, make a little rubric, a short little rubric, where you can know how many children in the class were able to get topic X, Y, Z. Okay, how many of them were able to master it? How many of them were able to apply it? Okay, just make simple rubrics, and from there you'll get to know how effective your class was.
Completely agree with you, sir. And I am that student who cannot sit still. My hands always keep on dancing, or my legs are like, continuously moving. So I can completely relate to it. Yes, teachers do have a very huge responsibility, and these are the tips which can be certainly very helpful if you assess how the class is learning, and whether what you taught, as sir said, you just put up the 5 MCQs, and you understand whether the child understood what you taught or not. So these are the small things when inculcated in your routine will make learning fun, and of course the child will understand better and be a part of it. So participative kind of classrooms is what is we are expecting these days, and that is what is going to be beneficial in long run too. Thank you so much, sir, for these wonderful strategies which would help our teachers. So, moving on to our next question, sir, appreciation boosts our ability to innovate and improve effectiveness in their interviews. So, do you agree that with the thought that a little appreciation goes a long way to improve overall performances? And I think that is why हम first, second, third को trophy देते हैं स्कूल में.
Yes, I mean, appreciation is always wanted, but I don't know why I have a little aversion to that first, second, and third. I mean, I would rather like to say, okay, you were good, okay, appreciate. This with children, it should, they want it more often, just a little praise, okay, that's enough. Okay, and in my school, we've tried to develop our assemblies in such a way that at some point of time, every child has come on the stage and either anchored the assembly or given some little talk and all that. Helps them to boost their confidence in speaking. uh, the place where we are, there's a tremendous challenge of language, but look at the children, the way they are now beginning to open up. That kind of hesitancy is like, they're probably getting out of that hesitancy. Many of them are now keen to come on the stage. Many of them are now keen to express their views. It's interesting also to see how children, they when I give them small, okay, uh, a self reflection. And it's so interesting to see how they express themselves. It's so interesting. Here, I keep telling the teachers also, don't look at their language, don't look at the grammar. ये सब चीजें मत देखो भाई. Just see कि बच्चों ने ideas क्या दिया है इसमें. And that is the most important thing, कि ideas क्या दिया है. What have they tried to say about themselves? वो unique है. Everybody. I won't restrict myself down to children. Everybody is unique. I am a unique person. You are a unique person, Seema. I think everyone is unique. The good Lord has given us all some kind of talents somewhere. Okay, so appreciation can change things. I'll give you a little example. We have a very prominent मंदिर हमारे स्कूल सिटी में ही, और एक हमारे स्कूल का ही बच्चा है जो उस मंदिर में भजन वगैरह गाता है. अब वी वर हैविंग अ टैलेंट हंट एंड ही जस्ट इनकरेज मी, गा लो. इसे एक सर, मेरे को केवल ये भजन आते हैं, ऐसे गा लो, वही गा लो, भजन ही गा लो. ओके, एंड the boy performed for the inter-house talent hunt. He performed. Believe it or not, in his category, he came first. And the judges were from outside. And in his category, he came first. Okay. It's like the talent. You look at the talent. You don't look at what he sang. You look at the talent. Now, appreciation becomes important. That little thing boosted his confidence. He realized, even I am good for something. हम भी किसी काम के हैं. Okay. Uh, having spoken about appreciation, I also believe that teachers from time to time also need this little appreciation. Principals need that little appreciation. I mean, 2021 January, I was given this award of Guru Varya Samman. It's an award, and it was online. Now the link was shared, and imagine my family, my extended family, my relatives, my sister, everybody watching this, and for them it was like a prayer. It was like a matter of pride. Okay, it's imagine my young children, okay, one is in his 20s, one is a teenager. Okay, and they're going around bragging around, today papa got a, okay, it was a big achievement. It's like having your wife, okay, going around boasting, my husband got an award. Okay, now this kind of appreciation goes a long way. It's like a shot in the arm for me. It was a shot in the arm, and this, I believe, is also what's required for teachers as well, to tell them, you're doing a fantastic job. You're doing a fantastic job. Okay, I also believe in one thing: scolding behind doors, closed doors, appreciation in full public view, and that will change uh, the way things look.
Beautifully explained, sir. The small words, they help us so much. They motivate us to be better than what we are, and this is what is required. And I really love the point where you mentioned that appreciate in public. That is what is required. Many a times we fail to do that. We just say, "Arey, tumne bahut acha kiya and you did great." But when you do it in front of so many people, that is when I feel privileged. Oh yes, I am someone, I have made a mark. So these are the things. And yes, our teachers, educators, in fact each one of us, everyone crave for this small appreciation. So never forget to do these little things. Take a moment and just appreciate the person whom you meet today. Just try it out, because this is a wonderful advice we have been shared today. So let's see how it changed lives of so many out there. Going ahead, in our next question, sir, we make friends in our journey of life, and some become the supporters for lifetime. They are the genuine people because they support you in your tough times too, and they are your real friends. So tell me, that educationist you look up to for your advice, inspiration, and support.
Okay, he happens to be An accounts teacher. We work together in Delhi. He's an accounts teacher, the HOD accounts right now, and the school I worked in Delhi, the Frank Gandhi Public School. A lot of my grooming was done there, and sometimes we do share, exchange our notes with each other, the tough times that we go through, the changing paradigms of education. He shares his views, I share my views, and somehow it's it does help, when you share and you realize that, okay, I'm not the only one who's looking at it this way. Even I have plenty of other people, a person pleasant in nature, who knows that, okay, today the guy is probably, I mean, I made him such a good friend that he knows that if I've not replied him properly, he knows that today, okay, he's not in the best of moods, and he'll definitely send me a WhatsApp to say, what's happened, pal, होप एवरीथिंग इज ओके। तो ऐसे अपने अपने ही प्रोफेशन में कुछ दोस्त बनाने चाहिए जो कि उसी लेवल पे, इंटेलेक्चुअल लेवल पे आपके साथ आपके फ्रीक्वेंसी पे चल पाए। तो कभी कभी वो ही आपको बहुत सपोर्ट कर सकता है कि हाँ, आई मीन, ओके, यू आर डूइंग अ गुड जॉब। ये तो होता रहता है, ये छोटा मोटा मोटी बातें होती रहती हैं, बट कंटिन्यू यार, जिंदगी चलती रहेगी। Okay, that is what we need these friends for, these intellectual friends who we can sit down. And believe me, this friend, okay, Mahesh Raut, his name is, this friend, I mean, and myself share a lot, especially on the intellectual front. We only try to, our conversations are mostly intellectual in nature.
So true, yes, I do agree, sir. When we have this kind of intellectual friend, life certainly becomes easier because we understand, yes, it will take time. He also said the same thing when he faced a similar kind of situation, and we both know that yes, we can do it together. So to all my dear viewers, ensure that you have this kind of intellectual friend always there in your life. It will be of great support forever. Moving ahead, we have reached to the very interesting segment of the show, which is called rapid fire round. So you have to answer in one word or a statement. All right. So here goes my first question. Role of principal is always thought to be, very complicated, but yes, it certainly requires some fun moments. So tell me that funny incident that brings smile to your face.
Okay, it just happened yesterday. Okay, I have to. The children called me in the class. We want a picnic. We want to go for a picnic. So that was the fun moment to smile at them and say, okay, they are demanding something from me.
Wow. So students have the liberty of asking the principal that we want this thing. So this is something really needed, very much needed. Moving ahead to the next question. How do you spend your recreational time?
Uh, I read. I I YouTube, especially for the wildlife videos. I go bonkers over the wildlife videos. Okay, I बहुत पसंद है, खास करके चीता अपने शिकार के पीछे जब भागता है, तो आई डोंट नो व्हाई वो उसके मसल्स वगैरह देख के पागल हो जाता हूँ।
All right, this is great to know. So your location, Nanapara.
हाँ,
We
नानपाड़ा
don't know
नानपाड़ा।
much about Nanpara. We don't know much about it. So kindly, just show us what it is and what is that you like about it.
A relatively peaceful location. We are about 25 kilometers away from Nepal border. Okay, so it's like quite easy to cross over. Relatively crime free. Uh, I mean, the crimes are like very small ones, if it at all takes place, like somebody stolen somebody's money, those kind of things. Huh? And nothing really great. The area is relatively pollution free. Relatively pollution free. I mean, you can breathe clean air over here. Hmm? Uh, and people are okay. I'd say there's a contrast of the people over here. They're lazy and laid back, but they're also innocent. So it's the contrast. Okay.
Right, great. So talking about lazy, how do you get a lazy student on toes and get him to making learning fun and try to experiment?
See, mostly the lazy students I've come across are those who are, you're not allowing them to move around freely. So he starts getting lazy. Okay. Just give him some errands to do, and he's uh, Can I come up with a little example?
Sure, sure.
Okay, I had this student of mine in when I was working in Dubai, and he was outside my office probably every period, punished by his teacher. He used to fall off to sleep. So I started off by, and mind you, he was a humanities student. Okay, and I mean, I was never a humanities student. So this boy would invariably be outside my office. So I would give him, okay, set my files, do this job, or odd jobs, and keep him moving and all. Came to the point where he would come in the break time and ask, sir, any work to be done? Okay, then I started getting this boy involved in political science. That's the class he was thrown at maximum. Okay, I was I started getting his political science book, and I would tell him, okay, come on, now you do these questions, just research this thing for me. The boy, he finished off grade 12 with 98% in political science. Mind you, teachers, मैंने कभी political science पढ़ा ही नहीं है, पर मैंने just अपने common sense से कुछ किया, and things turned out the way it had to be.
Wow. So small errands did their magic, and we could see the result. So these are just small tips that can be always followed to ensure that every child is bright. We just need that, they just need that little push. So these are some small things that can be done. Coming to the last question, you told me that you are educated by choice and not by chance. So tell me, if you were not an educator, what you would have been?
30 plus years now, I've forgotten what I would have actually preferred. But okay, actually, I did clear the service selection board for Air Force, and I couldn't make it because of a medical issue that I had, my eyesight and all. So that was one area I did focus on, and in my early teenage years. I would like to start all over again as a young teacher, learning all the intricate ways of the new teaching strategies, getting familiar with the NEP 2020, all those kind of things. Okay, STEAM and STEM and art integrated learning. I'd like to get back into it again. So I think I don't think I can think beyond what I am now.
All right, great. It was really fun to know you in this segment, sir. We got to know a lot of things about you, that you love wildlife and you also like cricket. You are a sports person, and you know that what all are the things that help you as a person. So we move to the last question of the show, which is called viewers' choice question. So my viewers keep on sharing a lot of questions, and this is the one I have picked for you. Well, they say that curriculum is a framework for educators and is based on the necessary goals, methods, and materials available. However, we forget that a curriculum should benefit students more than the educators. So, do we need to incorporate new learning programs to a school's curriculum? What do you think?
Yes, we definitely need to incorporate new learning programs. Just for the information of all, that the CBSE itself mandates continuous professional development of teachers itself. So there are 50 hours of dedicated CPDs every school must do per year annually. Now, teachers must, as we mentioned earlier, teachers must upskill themselves. And one important thing that we need to understand, that gone are the days of teacher centric learning. It's got to be now student centric learning. Involve the child. When you're doing a revision, ask the children to come onto the board to explain topics. And my teachers here, and I'm proud to say that my teachers over here are beginning to follow this, that they're beginning to call students. They've asked them to form small groups, given them, let's say, five small groups. You make five small groups of, let's say, about five students each. Okay. And the children discuss the five different questions are posed to them. The children discuss the questions, they come up with the best possible answers, and then one from each group will explain the answer, they explain the question and the answer. So what happens? This is a comprehensive revision strategy. Now, the curriculum, as is said, must actually be more student friendly. I would use the word student friendly. It should actually be very student friendly, where children are given a choice, and that's why the new education policy 2020 is talking about it. That an optional subject. I mean, a student may study physics along with accountancy. Why can't I have a diversified interest? Why can't I just study science with some uh, kind of uh, studying something of finances? Why can't I do that? I also have my interest in a little bit of economics. I have a little interest in English literature. But then, since I studied science in my school days, I mean, there's not much graduation. I had to literally study pure sciences. Why can't I take up literature also as a subject, as an optional subject? And this is exactly what the NEP is now beginning to talk about. We need to have a diversified interest.
Absolutely, sir. It's high time that we all realize that student has to be the epicenter of learning. Everything should be designed keeping his needs in center, and that is what NEP is all focused about. So, sir, it was truly an insightful conversation with you. I thoroughly enjoyed your ideas, and I can proudly say that you are a noteworthy change agent of the Indian education system. And I hope to see that many more educators following the suit soon. Thank you so much for your time with us.
Thank you.